Good afternoon, y'all. As Alan said, I am the proud parent of a 10th grade student, and that's the first class where the STAR EOCs are being implemented in the high school level, and that's what got us into this. TAMSA, Texans Advocating for Meaningful Student Assessment, it's a mouthful, but it's important. We represent a grassroots association, 100% volunteer, statewide from the Panhandle to the Valley, East Texas, all the way to El Paso. And we are of all different political stripes, but we are united in our absolute commitment that this current system is broken and this overemphasis on testing is hurting our children. As parents, over the last 20 years, we have watched Texas ramp up standardized testing, and with STAR, it has gone too far. This new system has extraordinary high stakes, 15 separate tests to graduate, and an impact on GPA, class rank, aspects that affect our children greatly. As parents, we've personally witnessed the negative impact on education. These tests are preempting opportunities for real learning. They're destroying creative thinking and problem solving and turning our schools into cookie-cutter bubble coloring factories. Every child is different, as we heard earlier. Every child has unique skills and talents, and every child deserves an opportunity to learn. This system fails to recognize that as a basic truth. It does not diagnose or provide help. It labels and punishes our students and our schools. After decades of testing, we at TAMSA have asked 4 main questions to evaluate what's really happening here. And the first of those questions is, what is this costing us? You've heard about the $500 million contract with Pearson. Well, Rice University also did a study, and they showed that over a 15-year period, Texas will have paid $1.2 billion for state standardized testing alone. Think about what that means. That equates to $2 every second. $2. In the time I'm speaking here, Texas will have spent over $500 on testing. That also equates to about $50,000 every 7 hours. And if you try to evaluate what that means in terms of teachers, we could have had 1,300 extra teachers every year for a 15-year period. The second question we ask is, so we're spending a lot of money, what are we getting from that money? Are we getting true value? In Texas, the scores on state standardized tests have slowly creeped up over about a 10-year period. So we think, okay, maybe we are buying something here. But what we're really buying is teaching students how to take that particular standardized test. When you look at the SAT scores for the same period of time, the scores that the colleges actually care about, we're flatlined. And there's no narrowing of achievement gaps. It's a disgrace. And then after 3 years, question 3 is, after all these years of testing, are we more college and workforce ready? There was a Houston endowment study that took a look at tracking children from 8th grade, 11 years after past 8th grade through high school. Nationwide, only 30% of the students were getting a 2-year, 4-year degree or college-level certificate. In Texas, that was a paltry 21.9%. When you disaggregate that by ethnicities, for African American and Latinos, that was 11%. I would submit to you these tests are not helping us improve our overall education value. And finally, what is the impact on our students with STAR? That's what got all of our moms involved. In a word, it's devastating. Last year, 47% of high school freshmen failed at least one test and are now off track to graduate on time. Even after 2 retests, 123,000 Texas students in the class of 2015 are poised to be frustrated or shamed out of our education system. TAMSA, we have visited schools all over the state, and we've heard hundreds and hundreds of heart-wrenching stories. There's a young man in Louisville who is an outstanding baseball player. The Major League Scouts are following him, and yet he's not been able to pass his test. He's in tutorials from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. every night so he can graduate high school, so he can realize his dream. We've seen kids who have missed the scores by 1 point and who have to forego their electives so that, and the electives are what keep them into the system and love their school. They have to forego those electives so they can remediate and retest again. We've even heard the story of a college freshman at Georgetown University from Texas who, after turning in his first English paper, his professor called him into the class and said, "Wait a minute, you're from Texas, aren't you?" "Yes, ma'am, I am. How do you know?" "Because your lousy formulaic writing skills don't do it again in my class." This is indeed a train wreck waiting to happen, and I'm so happy to see everyone here today because it would be morally irresponsible for us as parents and as voters to stand by and do nothing. We have over 1 million children in high school alone who will be taking over 5 million tests beginning the first week in April. The students in this system right now, they're being harmed now, and we need to ask the legislature to fix it now, this session, for our kids. We do not need a state standardized test to ensure that a subject is taught. Let the state set the requirements for our classes, let the districts and the teachers teach, let the teachers test students in real time to diagnose and provide help while the student's still in the classroom. Out of the 50 states, 25 require 0 exit exams from high school, 0. Of the other 25, 17 require 3 or fewer exams. Texas is the only outlier way out there requiring 15 exams to graduate. Albert Einstein said we should standardize automobiles, not people. He also said that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. What would he have called our current testing system? If a child is hungry, you do not weigh her, you feed her. We are spending hundreds of millions of dollars on a for-profit testing regime that does nothing to help students obtain a quality education. It's time for some plain old Texas common sense. Let's turn this testing mess around and give our students an education and a future that we can be proud of. Thank you.